Hi, Kasper again. Today I'm going to be talking about boards. But first, watch this clip. We now have no ice in Denmark and I've been sailing 2 times last weekend, and the forecast for this weekend is also looking like 2 days on the water, so that's pretty perfect. Boards. It's the cool part, and today I'm gonna be talking about what I do with my boards, how I optimize them, how I place my foot straps and my mast foot, and what I look for in a slalom board. Sometimes on the boards, when you get them, there will be the edges might not be perfectly sharp, and I like just to take wet for 100 and then just make sure that there are no leftovers of paint or anything, and just get them sharp all the way and just feel it. If they're sharp, it's perfect. They will bite, everything is fine, you will sail with more confidence. Okay? The part you trim the most on, because it's easy and accessible on your board, is the mast foot. If you move it further backwards, your board will fly more, run more freely. If you move it further forward, more control, but it will adhere more to the water surface. You'll go slower. If you check my boards, they actually all have around in the back section, and that's because of 2 things, or 3 maybe. The Avanti sails that I use are kind of biased to that position. The machine M7 was biased to that position, and also the M8. And so if I want my boards to fly, I have to go put it quite a long way back. What I look for in a mast foot or base is a base where I can remove the joint, so this one stays on all the time, so I know exactly, I know this is the position I want to be in, and it doesn't move. I check the screws regularly, but I don't move this. If I start moving from my favorite position, I'll draw a dot here, so I know if I place it here, I'm back to my old trim. Always have a way to make sure that your trim is like the last time, because otherwise you'll just, if you put your mast back, I think today is more windy, I'll put it a bit here, and maybe it's like 4 centimeters or something, and that's way too much. It's narrow steps. You can start in the middle when you get a new board, and then you trim if it flies too much, the boom goes down, or the mast rack goes further forward, or the other way if it's the different. But there's been made many videos on this on YouTube, and I think the one from TWS in Tenerife, how to make your board fly, says it's all about trimming your mast foot and your boom height. This is how the base works. You just pull this one, you take this one out, you can leave this in the board bag. It's very easy system, and I like it. It's from Highfly Munich or Surfline Munich. And also I think the Duotone Old North Sails iBase, you can do the same. It only has 1 screw, so you can have a bit more of adjustable range. What I have found about rocker lines on a slalom board, I would like to be like this. No tail kick, just flat. Here you can see the big one. It's also just flat as a pancake. It's a really unique feature to the boards coming from the Kinetic factory in Vietnam. So this is my old and very cool Formula board that I got for like 200 euros with a board bag, so really nice purchase, and it is actually in really good shape. But during a race, I had a crash and I landed next to the Mast track, and as you can see, it's pointed out in yellow here. So what I did, I drilled a lot of holes, and then I used 2-component rigid foam. I'll show you a picture of it in a moment. And then you mix it, and you have to be really fast, and you put it in a one-way syringe. You spray it in some of the holes, and the excess will pop up, and you'll just wait 24 hours. You cut the excess off, and it's rock hard. It's even harder than the regular. So it gets really hard. And then the next day you just put epoxy. And what I do to get some grip, I put epoxy in the holes, and then I just pour sugar on it and let it harden. And when you go in the water, the sugar will dissolve, and you will have a nice rough surface. It's really rough. So that's a quick and easy fix to a soft deck. Foot straps. I like the brands that come with 2 screws. I'll show you in a picture. How I set mine up is because I'm a lighter guy, I've gained a little bit due to Corona and some heavy workouts. But as a rule of thumb, if you are below 90 kilos, the boards are made for sailors a little bit above 90 kilos. Your average slalom sailor, I think, is between 90 and 95. And they have so much leverage due to their weight that they can push the board down so it rides like this. And if you're lighter, you have to put your weight further behind to get the board to settle like this, because if your board's too flat, you'll stick to the water surface, you will have too much drag from the underside of the board. So I find that I place my back foot all the way in the back. I've done that on all the slalom boards I had. On the AV boards, it's pretty easy. There are only 2 positions for the foot strap, forward or backwards. The same with the front. So there's not that much to talk about. And I have quite long legs, so I put the front ones in the front, the back ones in the back. That gives me, the wider the stance, the more control you get. But you also sacrifice, because your board gets a little bit flatter, you sacrifice a little bit of top speed. And I've just started testing my new fins I talked about in the first episode. And I might be able to put my foot straps 1 centimeter back in the front, because with the new fins, I have gained a lot of control compared to my old fins. So that's where I put them in the holes. And then let's talk about size. Size, I wear my front ones bigger than the rear ones. And I do that because with my front foot, I would like to go in and be able to put my toes like this upwards and keep the rail free. But on the back foot, you have these nice big lumps of foot pad for a reason. That's because you would like to push your toes in, and that's why this one has to be really small, so your toes just go to here, and then you can push and leverage the board in that way. So you lift with this one, you push down with your toes on this one. That's why they all made a little bit thicker on the inside here, so you can really push. And that I only discovered last year, and it's actually made quite a big of difference to my sailing. I have more control and I'm faster now. By the way, concerning the foot straps, always have the right screwdriver. For most brands, it's a Phillips head, size 3, PH3. And the better the screwdriver, Still is screw shoe. This is it for this episode of Amateur Slalom Tips. I hope to see you guys on the water, and I hope you can use the tips. Maybe get a little bit faster, get a little bit more control. And I'll return, maybe we'll talk about mast and mast extensions next time, show you how I set mine up, and maybe even sails, who knows, time will tell. Bye.